Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about something very interesting that has science to back it up, which is a rarity for this channel. No, I'm kidding. It's going to be regarding when people become fathers, they lose something. You know, men lose that kind of motivation, which science says that once a man has a child, his testosterone takes a dramatic dive. That's what the studies that I've read, they've said those words: a dramatic dive or a dramatic drop or a decrease. For them to say dramatic, for me, that says something more than 20-30%. And biologically it makes sense, you know, in an evolutionary sense. You've got these kids, you know, they're vulnerable, they're small, they need protection, but they don't need you shouting at them. They don't need you to be aggressive. They don't need the man to be so wild that he could kill his young, you know, like in the animal kingdom. So a testosterone drop, more empathy, more sympathy, a more motherly touch, if you would actually make more sense. You know, you'd be more empathetic towards the children, you'd be more focused on being a father than being a go-getter, and your testosterone tumbles massively. Now, why is this important for men going forward in life, their success, etc., and having kids young? Why do I think that is a bit of an issue, or a major issue? You know, I've spoken about this at length. I don't think men should have kids before the age of 40 if they really want to have the most fulfilling life. And the reason being, if your testosterone is going to take a giant dive the second that you have kids, it makes sense, because you're kind of, you know, what is the ultimate goal in life? The ultimate goal in life is to pass on your DNA, pass on your genetics, and have children. Once you've ticked that box, you know, you're going to feel like you've accomplished something. You're going to feel like you've achieved kind of the end goal, and then your role kind of swaps to, instead of go-getter, swaps to like provider or caretaker, or obviously a father, you know, and you're now bringing that kid up, you're now raising them, and everything that you do is for them. Whereas before that, you had high testosterone, you were going out into the world, you were trying to attract women, you were trying to get a better job, you were trying to get more money, you were pushing it all forward for the pursuit of sex, you know, for the pursuit of finding the most attractive mate or the most suitable mate, and then having a child. Bang, job done. Maybe you'll have a second one, maybe a third one, who knows? But once you've knocked that first one on the head, you have completed life. You know, it's not always the case, you know, some people have children before they're even capable of taking care of themselves, but you kind of have got to a point, you know, where you've survived long enough to find somebody who finds you attractive enough to have sex, to get the job done and have a child. And like I said, the testosterone takes a giant plunge, and a video that I'm going to do later is the link between testosterone and success, and how those two culminate together in order to propel men forward. And once that leaves the body, you know, and you have that huge decline, it makes perfect sense, because your body is kind of saying, it's like when you masturbate. You know, you masturbate and then your body says, let's go to sleep, let's lose motivation. You know, I don't feel, you know, especially when you have sex with a woman, like we've all had that feeling. You've pursued a girl for months, you finally have sex with her, and the first thing you can think about as soon as you've ejaculated is, when can I leave? You know, how do I get home? What excuse can I make? It doesn't happen every time, but we've all had that moment, right? And the same thing happens, I believe, when you have children. I believe if the testosterone is going to decline massively, that is your body saying, you know, that's that ejaculation moment where your body said, okay, job done, we've done it. You know, but this isn't short term. It's not like your sexual energy rises back up again. You're now a father. You know, that testosterone just goes down, and it stays down there now. It's never going to come back up to where it used to be naturally. You know, it's always going to be lower now. And yeah, you can boost it up with stuff like weights and a good lifestyle, etc. But your body's just naturally taken that giant plunge for testosterone, and it's just you're telling yourself, you know, your brain is telling your body, that's it, job complete. And I just think men lose something. They just lose something at that moment. And we've seen it before, guys. We've seen millions of men. Like, everybody knows somebody that's done this, that was ambitious, maybe, you know, was a go-getter in life, somebody who wanted to push their life forward. They have children, and then they kind of get lazy. You know, the people do it in relationships. They get a partner, and then they go from going to the gym, pushing forward in their career, maybe an ambitious individual, dressing well, good hygiene, keep themselves together, to just sitting around on a Saturday night eating pizza, bumming around watching Netflix. And I think once people have kids, something inside their brain goes, job done, relax. Take a day off, take weekends off. Yeah, you have to, you have to raise the kid. Otherwise, you'd never be around. You'd be a deadbeat dad. And I think that's definitely why the chemistry changes, so that the father will stick around and have more sympathy and empathy. But at that moment, I just think you lose that grit in your teeth, chasing after the most beautiful women. That sports car that you wanted, that big house that you wanted, the holiday home that you wanted, all those experiences with the boys, a barbecue in Australia or something. You lose that and you start thinking of different things. You kind of mature in age overnight and your brain chemistry changes. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing unless you're already successful. I think that's very, very dangerous, because now you've just lost that extra edge that keeps a bull from being a cow. And I just think that's so dangerous, guys, especially with the testosterone plummeting down. I just think that's a major error in a guy's life if he hasn't already achieved success, because at that point, he's lost that one motivator that was keeping him going, the one motivator that was pushing him forward in life to attract the most beautiful possible mate or the most suitable mate to get to the next stage. And so many people settle. So they want 10s when they're young. That drops to an 8 when they get older. She rejects him, drops down to a 6. He finally settles on a 4, has children, life's over. His ambition's gone. He's dropped down in the pecking order. You keep working on yourself through that male advantage. Maybe you finally get that 10 that you wanted, but that desire to keep going because you didn't have the kids, and that desire to get to the top and have the woman that you've always actually dreamed of having and the assets you've always dreamed of having, that'll stay inside of you because you haven't ticked the box. Life's ultimate goal, having a child. You haven't ticked that box. So if you keep that box unticked, life is never fulfilled. So you're going to keep pushing. You're going to keep striving for more. And I just think, like I've said it a million times in this video already, guys, but I like to reiterate points so that they stick and say them in different ways so that, maybe somebody hears it a certain way and it finally gets into their brain. But as soon as you have children, as a man, you lose something. You lose that extra edge. You become calmer. You're not as ferocious. You're not as much as a risk taker, and these are all behaviors associated with testosterone, which science has backed, plummets once you have children and become a father.